Welcome to Bible in a Year with Scott Purcell. I'm so glad you're joining me. This is a daily reading of portions of the Bible, following a plan that will include the entire Bible in a year. And now, let's open the book and begin our readings. This is the reading for day 101. If your reading is aligned with the calendar year in a non-leap year, this is for April 11th, or in a leap year for April 10th. The Old Testament reading is from Deuteronomy 15 and Deuteronomy 16 verses 1 through 20. Deuteronomy 15. At the end of 7 years you shall grant a remission of debt. And this is the manner of the remission of debt. Every creditor shall remit his claim that he holds against his neighbor, and he shall not exact payment from his brother, because there a remission of debt has been proclaimed unto Yahweh. With respect to the foreigner you may exact payment, but you must remit what shall be owed to you with respect to your brother. Nevertheless, there shall not be among you a poor person, because Yahweh will certainly bless you in the land that Yahweh your God is giving to you as an inheritance to take possession of it. If only you listen well to the voice of Yahweh your God by observing diligently all of these commandments that I am commanding you today. When Yahweh your God has blessed you, just as he promised to you, then you will lend to many nations, but you will not borrow from them. And you will rule over many nations, but they will not rule over you. If there is a poor person among you from among one of your brothers in one of your towns that Yahweh your God has given to you, you shall not harden your heart, and you shall not shut your hand toward your brother who is poor. But you shall certainly open your hand for him, and you shall willingly lend to him enough to meet his need, whatever it is. Take care so that there will not be a thought of wickedness in your heart, saying, the 7th year, the year of remission of debt, is near, and you view your needy neighbor with hostility, and so you do not give to him, and he might cry out against you to Yahweh, and you would incur guilt against yourself. By all means you must give to him, and you must not be discontented at your giving to him, because on account of this very thing, Yahweh your God will bless you in all your work and in all that you undertake. For the poor will not cease to be among you in the land. Therefore I am commanding you, saying, you shall willingly open your hand to your brother, to your needy, and to your poor that are in your land. If your relative, who is a Hebrew man or a Hebrew woman, is sold to you, and he or she has served you 6 years, then in the 7th year you shall send that person out free. And when you send him out free from you, you shall not send him away empty-handed. You shall generously supply him from among your flocks, and from your threshing floor, and from your press, according to that with which Yahweh your God has blessed you, you shall give to him. And remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and Yahweh your God redeemed you. Therefore I am commanding you thus today. And then, if it will happen that he says to you, I do not want to go out from you, because he loves you and your family, because it is good for him to be with you, then you shall take an awl, and you shall thrust it through his earlobe and into the door, and he shall be to you a slave forever, and you shall also do likewise for your slave woman. It shall not be hard in your eyes when you send him forth free, because for 6 years he has served you worth twice the wage of a hired worker, and Yahweh your God will bless you in whatever you will do. Every firstling male that is born of your herd and of your flock you shall consecrate to Yahweh your God. You shall not do work with the firstling of your ox, and you shall not shear the firstling of your flock. Rather, before Yahweh your God you shall eat it year by year at the place Yahweh will choose, you and your household. But if there is a physical defect in it, such as lameness or blindness, any serious defect, you shall not sacrifice it to Yahweh your God. In your towns you shall eat it. The unclean and the clean together may eat it, just as they eat the gazelle and as they eat the deer. But you shall not eat its blood, you shall pour it on the ground like water. Deuteronomy 16. Observe the month of Abib. You shall keep the Passover to Yahweh your God, for in the month of Abib Yahweh your God brought you out from Egypt by night. And you shall offer the Passover sacrifice to Yahweh your God from among your flock and herd at the place that Yahweh will choose to let his name dwell there. You shall not eat with it anything leavened. 7 days you shall eat with it unleavened bread of affliction, because in haste you went out from the land of Egypt, so that you will remember the day of your going out from the land of Egypt all the days of your life. And leaven shall not be seen with you in any of your territory for 7 days, and none of the meat that you will slaughter on the evening of the first day shall remain overnight until morning. You are not allowed to offer the Passover sacrifice in one of your towns that Yahweh your God is giving to you, but only at the place that Yahweh your God will choose to let his name dwell there. You shall offer the Passover sacrifice in the evening at sunset, at the designated time of your going out from Egypt. And you shall cook, and you shall eat it at the place that Yahweh your God will choose. And you may turn in the morning and go to your tents. 6 days you shall eat unleavened bread, and on the 7th day there shall be an assembly for Yahweh your God. You shall not do work. You shall count off 7 weeks for you. From the time you begin to harvest the standing grain, you shall begin to count 7 weeks. And then you shall celebrate the Feast of Weeks for Yahweh your God, with the measure of the freewill offering of your hand that you shall give, just as Yahweh your God has blessed you. And you shall rejoice before Yahweh your God, you and your son and your daughter, and your slave and your slave woman, and the Levite that is in your towns, and the alien, and the orphan, and the widow who are in your midst, in the place that Yahweh your God will choose to let his name dwell there. And you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt, and so you shall diligently observe these rules. You shall celebrate the Feast of Booths for yourselves 7 days at the gathering in of the produce from your threshing floor and from your press. And you shall rejoice at your feast, you and your son and your daughter, and your slave and your slave woman, and the Levite, and the alien, and the orphan, and the widow that are in your towns. 7 days you shall celebrate your feast to Yahweh your God at the place Yahweh will choose, for Yahweh your God shall bless you in all your produce and in all the work of your hand, and you shall surely be rejoicing. 3 times in the year all of your males shall appear before Yahweh your God at the place that he will choose, at the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and at the Feast of Weeks, and at the Feast of Booths. And they shall not appear before Yahweh empty-handed. Each person shall give as he is able, that is, according to the blessing of Yahweh your God that he has given to you. You shall appoint judges and officials for you in all your towns, that Yahweh your God is giving to you throughout your tribes, and you shall render for the people righteous judgment. You shall not subvert justice, you shall not show partiality, and you shall not take a bribe, for the bribe makes blind the eyes of the wise and misrepresents the words of the righteous. Justice, only justice you shall pursue, so that you may live, and you shall take possession of the land that Yahweh your God is giving to you. The New Testament reading is from Luke chapter 13, beginning with verse 31, through Luke chapter 14, ending at verse 14. Luke 13:31. At that same hour some Pharisees came up and said to him, "Go out and depart from here, because Herod wants to kill you." And he said to them, Go and tell that fox, Behold, I am expelling demons and performing healings today and tomorrow, and on the third day I will complete my work. Nevertheless, it is necessary for me to be on the way today and tomorrow and on the next day, because it is not possible for a prophet to perish outside Jerusalem. Jerusalem, Jerusalem, the one who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to her. How many times I wanted to gather your children together the way a hen gathers her own brood under her wings, and you were not willing. Behold, your house has been left to you. And I tell you, you will never see me until the time will come when you say, Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. Luke 14. And it happened that when he came to the house of a certain one of the leaders of the Pharisees on a Sabbath to eat a meal, they were watching him closely. And behold, a certain man was in front of him, suffering from edema. And Jesus answered and said to the legal experts and Pharisees, saying, Is it permitted to heal on the Sabbath or not? But they remained silent. And he took hold of him and healed him and sent him away. And he said to them, Who among you, if your son or your ox falls into a well on the day of the Sabbath, will not immediately pull him out? And they were not able to make a reply to these things. Now he told a parable to those who had been invited, when he noticed how they were choosing for themselves the places of honor, saying to them, When you are invited by someone to a wedding feast, do not recline at the table in the place of honor, lest someone more distinguished than you has been invited by him. And the one who invited you both will come and say to you, Give the place to this person. And then with shame you will begin to take the last place. But when you are invited, go and recline at the table in the last place, so that when the one who invited you comes, he will say to you, Friend, move up higher. Then it will be an honor to you in the presence of all those who are reclining at the table with you. For everyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and the one who humbles himself will be exalted. And he also said to the one who had invited him, When you give a dinner or a banquet, do not invite your friends or your brothers or your relatives or wealthy neighbors, lest they also invite you in return and repayment come to you. But whenever you give a banquet, invite the poor, the crippled, the lame, the blind, and you will be blessed, because they are not able to repay you, for it will be paid back to you at the resurrection of the righteous. The wisdom literature reading is from Psalm 44, verses 1 through 12. Psalm 44, 1. For the music director of the sons of Korah, a maskil. O God, we have heard with our ears, our ancestors have told us, of work you worked in their days, in days of old. You, with your hand, drove out the nations, but them you planted. You harmed the peoples, but them you let spread out. For not with their sword did they possess the land, and their arm did not give them victory. Rather, it was your right hand and your arm and the light of your presence, because you delighted in them. You are my king, O God. Command victories for Jacob. By you we push down our enemies. By your name we tread down those who rise against us. For I do not trust my bow, and my sword cannot give me victory. Rather, you have saved us from our enemies, and have humiliated those who hate us. In God we boast all the day, and we will give thanks to your name forever. Surely you have rejected and disgraced us, and have not gone out with our armies. You have caused us to pull back from the enemy, and so those who hate us have plundered for themselves. You have given us as sheep for food, and among the nations you have scattered us. You have sold your people cheaply, and did not profit by their price. This concludes the reading for Day 101. Thank you for listening. These daily readings are made possible by your generous support of the global outreach ministry of Scott Purcell. To partner with us and enable this work and others like it, please visit huttobible.com/give and select Go Pastor Support from the fund list. You can also sign up for ministry updates at scott-purcell.epistle.org/subscribe. Both of those links can be found in the podcast description. Thank you for helping us share God's Word.